Tonight, as the countdown to the general election continues, councils are making emergency provisions for people who have not received postal votes. Also making the headlines, a campaign is launched following a significant rise in cases of online child abuse and exploitation in Scotland. Opening Balmoral's doors, the public get to see inside the royal family's favourite retreat. And in sport, will Andy Murray be fit enough to take to the court at Wimbledon? I'm John Mackay. This is the STV News at 6. Good evening. Councils right across the country are making emergency provisions for people who have not received their postal votes. Some councils have set up drop-in centres where people going on holiday this week can make sure they don't miss out. But for some, it's already too late. Our political editor Colin Mackay has been following this. And Colin, how big a problem is it?
Well, there will probably be more postal votes in Scotland at this election than ever before. 24% according to the Electoral Commission. Edinburgh City Council have started sorting through postal votes just today, and there is a huge increase in the demand. In 2019, Edinburgh had about 72,000 postal votes. This year, there are 103,000. That's up 41%. Now, long-standing postal voters will be absolutely fine. They'll already have theirs. The problem is with late applications, and given the unexpected timing of the election, the fact that it's coming during the school holidays, there's a lot more of them. An estimated 150,000 late applications. That works out at about 2,500, more than 2,500 per constituency. There are at least 10 constituencies in Scotland with a notional majority of just about that. So a few missing voters could actually really affect the result.
And Colin, what are the parties saying?
Well, a spokesman for the Prime Minister today said that Rishi Sunak's not concerned that some people will be disenfranchised. They think all this will be sorted. Scottish Labour leader Anas Sarwar says no one should be disenfranchised because of this. And First Minister SNP leader John Swinney, he's been expressing concern about this from the start, particularly because of the Scottish school holidays, which have already started a couple of weeks before they start in England. Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey has said much the same over the weekend. But most people will still be voting in person on Thursday. If you're doing that, remember for the first time to take with you valid voter ID, your passport or your driving licence or something.
Colin at the Scottish Parliament, thank you. There has been a significant rise in cases of online child abuse and exploitation in Scotland. Figures from the police show more than 2,000 cyber-enabled sexual crimes against children were recorded last year. That's up 21% in the previous year. Now a campaign is being launched aimed at preventing such behaviour. Here's our senior reporter, Gordon Cree.
All right, see you later.
This new campaign from Police Scotland is aimed directly at people who may be involved in online child sexual abuse. It warns them they will be caught and urges them to consider the impact on their own family and get help. That's where the charity project Stop It Now Scotland comes in.
We need to recognise that those individuals that are starting to move into that behaviour, actually we can deter them, we can disrupt them, we can move them onto early help so actually they don't offend or they move out of offending as quickly as possible.
In the last year, cases of abuse and exploitation of children by offenders using the internet have risen by 21%. It's up 300% on a decade ago, and that means more people ending up in court and in prison. Earlier this year, this man, Benjamin Young, was jailed for life. His offences included creating and possessing indecent images. He had almost 20,000 of them, as well as running a dark web chat room for sharing them with other offenders.
I think some people consider that it might be a victimless crime. It's images and videos. It's not. It's a child being abused. And yes, it is very difficult for the officers to deal with. It's a very emotive business area to work in, so very challenging, but that's why the number of children that are at risk in Scotland, the UK and actually globally means that it's one of our key priorities.
Parents are also being urged to be more aware of what their children are doing online to help protect them from becoming victims. Gordon Cree, STV News.
Other stories, and prices for gas and electricity will come down as the energy regulator Ofgem's new price cap begins today. The typical energy bill could fall by about £122, but the relief is expected to be temporary as prices are forecast to rise again in the run-up to winter. Bins could be left overflowing during the Edinburgh Festival Fringe after members of the GMB union voted for strike action. Rubbish collectors in 13 areas, including North and South Lanarkshire, Edinburgh and Fife, backed action over their ongoing pay dispute. The union says talks have been protracted and that pay offers have been below those to waste workers in the rest of the UK. A woman has died after her mobility scooter was hit by a car in Glasgow. The crash happened on Friday afternoon between Church Street and Edinburgh Road in Baillieston. The 58-year-old was taken to the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital where she died yesterday. A 77-year-old man who was driving a white Ford Fiesta was also taken to hospital for treatment and minor injuries. The road was closed for 5 hours. A man has appeared in court charged with murder following the death of a woman at a house in Glasgow. Police were called to Tummel Street in Ridbury on Saturday. 36-year-old Maxine Clark was pronounced dead at the scene. Mark Keel, who is 32, made no plea at Glasgow Sheriff Court and was remanded in custody. It's been the royal family's favourite holiday home and retreat since the 19th century. Now, Balmoral Castle is opening its doors to the public for the first time ever. Visitors can already tour the grounds and gardens, but from today they have the chance to see the castle's interior. Here's Anne Smith.
Stunning Balmoral Castle in the heart of Royal Deeside. It's been the royal family's haven for over a century. The late Queen spent every summer here. It's no secret it was one of her favourite places. The public can already explore the castle grounds and ballroom, but now visitors can see the family's private residence for the very first time.
I think it's probably very luxurious if the king is going to be there.
Hopefully some of it's been modernised and it's not too austere an environment. Yeah, I would imagine it's going to be quite lavish.
I think it looks old-fashioned.
The decision to open up private family rooms was taken by King Charles as part of his wish to make royal residences like this more accessible. We weren't allowed in to film, but I am one of the first visitors ever to get a peek inside. And what you come away with is the most extraordinary sense of history dating back almost 200 years. From today, visitors on the guided tours will get a glimpse of how much this is a treasured family holiday home. They can wander from the entrance hall to the library, now the King's Study, where Queen Victoria once enjoyed breakfast. Other rooms include the Pages Lobby and the Red Corridor, with their centuries-old family heirlooms. Also on display are some of the King's own watercolours.
They get to be part of history. They get to come out here and be some of the first people to ever go into their Majesty's castle and enjoy what the royal family have enjoyed for over 180 years.
We've got some amazing sculptures by William Theed. One in particular is Malcolm Canmore, an ancient king of Scotland. Some artwork. The royal family have one of the largest collections of Sir Edwin Landseer paintings. So there's some special treats in there. I don't want to give too much away.
As well as opening Balmoral's doors for the first time, the King's plans to redecorate the gardens are also underway.
I think the King has been involved in what we need to do, and he's been involved every step of the way, and he's on board with what we need to do and is very happy with the results so far.
Guests here today might be disappointed to learn that despite the hefty price tag of £100 or £150 if you have afternoon tea, all 5 weeks' worth of tickets have already sold out. Anne Smith, STV News.
Andy Murray will decide by tonight if he's fit enough to compete in the singles at Wimbledon. The two-times champion, who was back in the practice courts earlier, underwent surgery to remove a spinal cyst 9 days ago. He's scheduled to face Thomas Mahach tomorrow.
Hopefully he's got one last hurrah in him. We're keeping our fingers crossed.
We were lucky enough to go to Paris to see him in Roland Garros in his match there. And I think he showed really determination and he really wants to go for it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll be here.
Hopefully he's got one more in him, but not sure.
Give it one more go. Give it one more go. Let's see what happens.
Scottish Rugby has announced a financial reset after recording losses of around £20 million with 35 jobs at risk. They'll now consult with staff. Meanwhile, on the pitch, Ewan Johnson says he would realise a lifelong dream if he wins his first Scotland cap this summer. The giant lock forward, who was raised in France, has travelled to Canada with the team for their first test of a 4-match tour of the Americas. Jamie Borthwick reports.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
At 6'9" tall and weighing 19 stone, Ewan Johnson is an eye-catching rugby specimen. And after winning his first senior call-up, the 25-year-old second row is hoping to show that he's the latest bright prospect to wear the thistle.
Every young player kind of has the same goal and has to play at the highest level possible, and this is the highest level. So it's been a lifelong dream for me, my dad, my two brothers, and I think, like I said, hopefully I can get across that line and get that first cap.
Johnson was a regular in Scotland under-20s squads, playing in 2 Six Nations campaigns. But he's taken an unconventional route, playing all his rugby in France, and last season competed in the top league for Oyonnax.
I was born in England, I've got a Scottish dad, Welsh mum, and I moved out to France when I was 4 years old, so I did all my schooling over there. Yeah, so I'm pretty much as much French as Scottish, so I'm quite lucky, especially playing over in France this season, playing top 14, going against obviously massive players like Dupont, for example, or all those boys. There's no better way to learn than on the day on the field.
Johnson hopes to earn his first Scotland cap when they face Canada in Ottawa this weekend, the first of a 4-match summer tour. Jamie Borthwick, STV Sport.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
That's the sport and the news. Let's get the weather forecast from Sean.
A dry start to the day will become increasingly splashy. TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Hello there. Well, we spent a lot of June in a north to northwesterly airflow, keeping temperatures below average. That's been the same across France, Portugal and also Spain as well. However, in Spain, the temperature's really rising this week. Could see the high 30s, the low 40s in some spots. But for us, even though we've changed the calendar into July now, stay in that cooler north to northwesterly airflow. And I think the temperatures are still going to remain below average for quite a wee while now, probably until about the middle part of the month. And that could be the turning point, but nothing overly summery in the cards this week, I'm afraid, and actually turning quite blustery and feeling quite fresh Wednesday and Thursday. Now today we've had rain around, but that rain's cleared away. Not a bad end to the day, at least. A lot of dry weather with sunny spells out there just now, but overnight we'll see a few wee showers coming back into the northwest. Now tomorrow it should be a largely dry start to the day for many parts, but clouding over during the afternoon. There'll be outbreaks of rain spreading into western parts, the breeze picking up as well. The driest weather in the east until later on, but here we will see some showers by the end of the afternoon. Temperatures 14 to 16 at best and blustery with lots of showers Wednesday and Thursday. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
And finally, 2 osprey chicks are set for warmer climes after concerns over their father's ability to feed them. The chicks are to move from Lochaber to Valencia after the Woodland Trust Scotland learned about a reintroduction programme in the Spanish region. They say normally they wouldn't intervene, but took the chance to give the chicks another chance. And that's all from your STV News this evening. We'll be back at the more regular time of 6 o'clock tomorrow. From all of us here, thank you for watching. Have a good night.